it's more like the yin yang symbol. Everything good has some evil there. Everything evil has some, everything that's kind of more possessive or more evil has a little bit of goodness to it. It's not just directly kind of evil only or directly only good. With the cabal doing the stuff like the satanic movies and stuff, and the satanic horror movies and all this stuff, they have several agendas. One is fear. They want to scare people. And they want to enjoy the process of scaring people. And that other people enjoy being afraid. Horror movies so there's a control factor. How are you able to scare somebody? Because you have control in some fashion over others. Okay, that's what fear and scare and stuff is. So it fits with their kind of darker or dark agenda. And so it parallels with the real world. In the real world, they want that dark, that fear agenda because people will be obedient slaves. If you're really able to scare the people and they really have no assets, no recourse of action, and you're not doing it to the point where you're cornering people. It's not a good idea to corner people. If you corner people and continue to torture them, they will fight back and start fighting back big time. So we're not talking about cornering people. It's more like studying the behavior of the people. And it's trying to convince them to be fascinated with this type of media, such as horror movies and stuff like that. So then the parallel to the real world is the IRS. That's the real horror movie. Like, if you don't pay the IRS, they'll be knocking on your door, auditing you, and taking your money, seizing your house or whatever. So that's the real horror movie. So the parallels to the horror movie or death cults and stuff is the IRS. That's in the real world. Is the feds or whatever. The kind of these fear-based type of things. Or threatening people and scaring people, stuff like that in the real world. So the interesting thing is that, yes, the entertainment industry and all that stuff, this is a form of expression. That's where they can let out all their expression and show everything there, because it's just a movie. And they're not putting their own name, their own face on there. It is some actors and some stuff going on where you can live it out through this experience that's captured on the screen. Experience capture. Movie is experience capture. So that's their that's their palette of expression there, everything. But in the real world, they are extremely secretive. Everything they do is invisible. All the bad stuff is invisible. The evil stuff is invisible, but it's extremely evil, extremely. And it's a very, very bad idea to be doing these bad things, because when people have any issue there, come in contact with it, they get very angry. And they tend to expose everything, and this is what gets them caught, and that's why it's over now. That's why it's basically over. The whole thing is over. They're caught, it's defeated, it's over. That's it, basically. But what he's saying regarding the good and evil thing is that I don't think people really care that much about good and evil. Good and evil doesn't really come into play with most people's lives. Your day-to-day life is not all thinking about good versus evil. It's thinking about, what do I do for work? I'm going to work and taking care of my business, doing what I'm supposed to do there, do a very good job, let's go do a lot of work, and that's it. That's 90% of what it is, what people do, and what their life is. And then you get other stuff like entrepreneurs coming with ideas and stuff like that. Getting involved with a certain type of project or stuff with fascinating project. It's kind of like a work type of thing, but it's mainly just work. It's probably 80% of what people do as far as what they're occupied with. College and work. I work 70 to 80% of it's work. So as far as good or evil, it's more realistic to look at it in terms of industries, or what type of service are you providing. That's the way to look at it. Because I mean, I'm talking about reality. Reality for most people is work of some sort. But this also brings in the question of a lot of these people, or some people, are rich, or some other people are rich and are not just working, quote unquote, a lot for employment. They are able to sit around and live their life, do shopping and stuff like that. So this stuff is kind of a hobby, or film industry, watching movies or whatever. I don't know. But I think that is the more perverse aspect, and that is really the downfall of people just, not actual working and participation. I think everyone should do hard work or physical work or whatever in some point, in some format. It builds character. Builds character. But I think for most people, it is work. Is what they do. What people do is work, and so this work is yes, the work is not either good or evil. It's work that occupies you. So the certain type of industry, certain industries like film industry, making horror movies, it's understandable that that is a evil type of thing. Is a horror movie is evil. Something else like doing construction, architecture, that's not evil. It's building things. It's architecture. So it's a rather of a good kind of thing. But the evil part may be that you charge a lot of money. You charge a lot of money to the client, to the customer. You charge a lot of money to the client, and so that's a little bit of power-based kind of thing there. It all comes down to the amount of control, the amount of evil. The more control there is, the more evil that there is. And I think that the amount of evil with some of this bad stuff is just no wonder, I mean, it's totally on the internet all over the place, this stuff. Because, it gets found out. If people are involved in really evil things, it gets found out.